Welcome to Just John and April, the relationship podcast, your place for life, love, and laughs. In today's episode, Relationship Hacks Part 2, What You Really Think, and the Word of the Day. Hey, babe.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good.
School's about to start back. Are you actually excited about that, or are you bummed about the summer almost being over?
I'm actually excited. My room is ready.
That's good.
And it looks good.
I agree. I haven't seen it in person, but the pictures look good.
Yeah, it looks good.
That's good.
I do want to say that I've been working late every night.
That is true.
But
you've also been hanging out with us every night. Every night
true.
we've been watching a movie at night.
Staying up late.
Yeah.
I'm very tired.
Family movie every single night we've been watching together to end off the summer very nicely.
I'm so sleepy. But I just appreciate you. This week has been...
Me? You're not talking to the audience? Oh, okay. Thank you.
No, I really appreciate my husband. I mean, the support you've been giving me this week. I mean, every year it just gets better and better, the support.
I'm noticing the reciprocation's gotten better and better, too. So thank you, actually, for that. Yeah.
But it's been really nice. You know, he's been cooking every night and telling me, don't worry about anything. I've got it. And that's just been,
it's always difficult.
Helps with the stress. You
know?
know?
It's always difficult when you get back into school. We call it re-entry here. Basically going from summertime to school. Yes. It's almost like, re-entering the atmosphere from outer space. That's what it's really like that.
It is. It's so difficult.
Yeah. And so it's hard. And what we found over the years is it's much easier when, what I found over the years, it's a lot easier for us when I just take more of the responsibility and take a little off your plate. And it's not that hard.
It helps. So, I'm like able to just do what I need to do. And it's just, I'm not thinking about anything else but my job.
Right.
So I can get it done and be ready. It's just great. I just really appreciate that.
I'm glad you appreciate it. Honestly, it has gotten easier over the years as the kids have gotten older. We hang out more, John's 14, Julia's 12. And so we can do more things together. John and I play basketball outside. Julia will come out there with us and ride her bike. There's all kind of stuff that we can do. When they're littler, it's a lot harder.
It is, because you have to keep your eye on them all the time.
Yeah, it's a lot different. So now it's been fine. It's been fun.
Good.
I'm glad it's helpful. I'm glad it's been good for you.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Just wanted to say that publicly.
And I want to say publicly that they may need to be thanked again tonight.
Not thanked
I'm just
enough.
kidding. I'm just kidding. It's been great. Yeah, I've really felt thanked. So thank you, babe.
Good.
So we're talking tonight about relationship hacks, and we really did. This is part 2. We did the first one already. Episode 18 was the Pass the Mic episode. It was basically a conflict resolution hack that we use, and we hope that was helpful to you. You can go back and look at it if you'd like to.
Yes, and you can watch the actual Pass the Mic example or illustration
on Ask John and April. Yeah, it was. I don't remember there's no episode number to that, but it was an Ask John and April episode where we did a demonstration so that you can see what it's actually like if you're trying to do it. We got some positive feedback from a few people telling us that was helpful, and so
they tried it and it worked and it was so good for them. So I think it's a good hack.
Yeah, we're sharing what's worked for us.
Mm-hmm.
We're not saying it'll work for everybody.
Right.
We're not saying that it will necessarily be for every situation, but we're hoping that as we share the things that have worked for us over the years, that they'll work for you too. So we're glad to get some positive feedback on that. So you can go back and watch it.
Definitely.
And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that now. Feel free.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So today we really want to talk about this part 2. We're talking about it's really about expectations. And the relationship hack, if we were going to boil it down, would be expect less and get more. Right. That's basically what we're talking about. That's the hack. So what we found is that expectations can be dangerous. If you have expectations of someone else and you have not articulated those things, they're especially damaging if they don't come to fruition. And sometimes unspoken expectations can be like a cancer almost, They're like maybe something that you haven't even discovered. It's there. It's sort of killing you. You don't even know what the problem is. But anyway, that's one of those things. And so we found that it's an issue in relationship. It's been an issue in our relationship multiple times. We've had issues with this throughout our relationship consistently.
Yeah, you have expectations that you have not voiced, and then you expect the person to do what you're thinking.
Right.
So I got to know what you're thinking.
Exactly. I got to read your mind first.
And you get mad at me because I didn't know what you were thinking.
Exactly. And then
that's not really fair.
Even if I do say what it is, it might be an unrealistic expectation. It might be something that even when I voice it sounds crazy and wouldn't even be something that anybody would ever do.
Right. So I'm going to give you an example. John doesn't know that I'm going to give you an example.
It's fine.
But I remember when we were newly married. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, we had John.
Oh, it was like
but with,
5 years
6
in
years,
then.
yeah,
okay.
6, 7 years
so it wasn't
in.
that new.
And he showed me that he was upset about something.
Oh, so I didn't actually say I was upset. I just demonstrated
You demonstrated. You kind of had an attitude.
Okay.
Here and there. I couldn't understand where it was coming from. So I prodded, to try to figure out what it was. Mm-hmm. And finally it came out that he wanted me to make his lunch every day. I
don't remember this at all. Every day? Where'd you get that from?
John, that's what you said.
I don't remember that.
He
First
said
of all, hold on.
He said...
I will dispute this.
No. He said that he wanted me to make his lunch every day.
Okay.
And he wanted me to make him breakfast. He wanted me to make him lunch and dinner. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay, well, hold on. Did I say all three or did I just say lunch every day?
You didn't say lunch. You said...
I didn't say lunch.
You didn't just say lunch. Okay, I'm saying lunch every day because that's the first thing I was thinking about. But you actually said you want me to make you breakfast. Like in the morning we get up, you want me to make you like.
This feels kind of suspect now.
It's not.
The story is changing.
Guys, I'm so serious. No, seriously. Like a boiled egg. He wanted a boiled egg and a banana, right?
Okay.
He wanted me to have it made ready for him, and then lunch in a bag for you to take to work, and then dinner when you came home.
I do not remember this at all.
And I initially wanted to be mad at that, but I was listening because you were expressing this, so I listened. Mm-hmm. And I said to you, do you really think, no. You know what I said to him?
What?
I said to you,
since I don't remember this at all.
As I'm telling this story, I'm remembering what happened. Okay. And I said to you, I am so sorry, but if that's what you want, you're not going to be able to get it because I can't do that.
Okay.
Like, that's what I said to you.
Right.
I was like, I wish that I could do that. That would be great.
Right.
But I will not be able to do that. And it was like, when I said that, it just clicked for you. You were like, what am I asking? I can't believe I'm asking you to do that. Like, I don't know what it was. It was like my response was not something you were expecting. So it's like a light bulb went off. Like,
right.
Whoa.
Right.
What did I just ask her to do? We have a little baby. She's working full time. Mm-hmm.
So this is the thing. Expectations are funny because as long as you keep them inside, they have power sometimes over you and actually over your relationship. Like, dead serious.
True. I mean, he would have a little attitude and I couldn't understand what it was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a long period of time. This was happening within I guess like a 2-week span. It just came over him, like
right.
what he really wanted. And
right.
I was supposed to be a mind reader and
right.
figure that out
right.
and just make the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
But
so the funny thing is that this actually leads into one of our ways to help you with this unrealistic expectation issue. There are actually 3 different things that we think you can do, like tips, ways in which you can help to mitigate unrealistic expectations, right? So the first thing is you sometimes have to say it out loud.
Yeah.
You sometimes have to just articulate it. Just voice it. Sometimes, even if you're the person you have the expectation about, even if they're not there, sometimes just saying it out loud to yourself will help you to understand that this expectation is unrealistic. There's no way that's going to happen.
Right.
And it doesn't make any sense. And the fact that you're thinking it may give it more power because you didn't actually say it out loud.
You said to me afterwards,
like, once I heard that, it made sense that there's no way that was going to happen?
Yeah, you actually said, I don't know why I even want that. I don't know why I would want you to do that.
Right.
There's no way you could do that. I don't know why I would even think that. But it took you telling me.
Right.
And my response too now.
Right.
So the response has to be honest from the other person. Like, it can't be that you hide your feelings about it. You have to say what you really feel about what the person is saying, because it can also, trigger that light bulb that says, wait a minute, this cannot happen, or this is unrealistic. This is not something that is
doable.
Right.
Yeah. So let me tell you about our situation at that time. So John was our first baby, obviously, and I'm assuming we're talking about less than 1 year old.
No. Now that I think about it, guys. I'm sorry. The more I think about it, the more I
really
know.
I'm not sure this really happened, guys.
Yes,
She's remembering so much stuff now.
It happened, and I'm going to tell you now. I know.
Okay.
It was John and Julia.
So by this point, we had both kids.
Yes, and it was because I know we were in North Carolina.
Okay. All right.
So
that makes
it
sense.
was
If we were in North Carolina,
yes,
we definitely
that's
both
when
of
I was
them.
working full time because I was home with the kids.
Good point.
That's
with John. Yes.
So
that's
it was
true.
both. So
Right.
that makes it even worse.
Right.
Because
So-
I was not just making.
So it
lunch.
sounds like we had a little one that John was probably around 3 years old at this point. Julia was probably 9 months or so, because when we
Right.
first moved there, that was their ages when we got to Durham, North Carolina. So now we have two little ones, and she's back to work full time. And so the idea that she would be able to add this extra thing or do this extra thing on top of all the other stuff that was having to happen was not realistic.
No.
It may have been something that I wanted, but it wasn't actually a realistic expectation. The moment I was able to get it out there, then it was like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. And guess what? I stopped being upset by not being able to get what I wanted.
So that leads us to our second point.
Yeah.
He had to find a way to let me know what those expectations were.
Yeah.
Even though I was like, what's wrong? What's going on?
So the second thing really is find a way to discuss it with your partner, no
Right.
matter how difficult it might be. Let me just explain something about me as a person that is an issue. I have a certain thing about myself when it comes to the way that I think about how I feel about certain things and how modern culture thinks about those things. So, for instance, I grew up in a home where my mother taught us as boys, my brother and I, to be able to cook and to clean and all that stuff. So I can do all of that. Where a traditional home, you would have the women doing that kind of stuff. In my home growing up, the men were very comfortable doing that. The boys, I guess, and growing up, we became men and we were able to do that stuff. So even though I'm good at it, I still have this thing inside of me that wants my wife to sort of be in charge of those kinds of things around the home. And so there's this battle within me because I know that's what I like. And I know that modern culture would say I'm a Neanderthal if I want that, if I want my wife to do that. Oh, you just want your wife to be barefoot and pregnant. No, that's not it. But I do like the idea of my wife being in charge of those things. So it was always difficult for me to talk to you about those kinds of expectations because I had an issue in my own self with feeling like that wasn't an expectation that I should have.
Right.
So it was always a point of contention. There would be an issue. So what would happen is I wouldn't voice the expectation because I had a problem with the way that I felt about feeling like I shouldn't even have this expectation. So it caused turmoil. It actually made it even worse. It made it like now the expectation kept the power over me. It kept me basically in a bad mood when I didn't get what I wanted. But of course, I wanted her to do it without me having to say anything about it. But how was she going to know unless I voiced it? But I couldn't voice it because I had a problem with it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So we're really saying you need to find a way to
Yeah.
voice your expectation with your significant other, no matter how difficult that is, no matter how stupid it makes you feel or whatever. You've got to voice it because it loses its power once you voice it.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But you have to also respond in an honest way.
True.
So once those expectations are voiced, you have to respond as the one who's receiving those expectations in a way that is honest. I mean,
Yeah.
if you know that that's not something you're going to be able to do, and that needs to be off the table, then that needs to be said.
Yeah.
You know?
But I also think that if you feel that your spouse's expectation is something that may go to their love language or that might be something that will continue to come up because it's important to them, then I wouldn't say dismiss the thing right away.
No.
Figure out a way and see, is it possible for me to be able to fulfill this expectation in some way?
But I'm talking about realistic expectations.
Right.
I'm talking about something that can actually happen. You know, if that's something that can actually happen based on the circumstances or their life or how they live or whatever, I think of course you can. Of course, as far as love language, but I do believe that there's some things that you may be able to do here and there, but for it to be consistent, you can't put it out there like, you know what, okay, I can do that, and then you don't. Then it's like, okay, I voiced the expectation. You're still not doing it?
Right.
Now I'm mad.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah.
I'm saying I have to be real too.
True.
Having 2 kids and working full time, That was not going to be a consistent thing happening.
Right.
Not that couldn't happen here and there.
Right. So here's the
But,
point,
you
though.
know.
And here's what I'm really saying. What I'm saying is, if your response to your spouse in a situation like that is pretty much that'll never happen, then I think your spouse is going to feel some kind of way about that.
Right.
So I think it's important that when you look at their expectation, that you also think through, maybe there's an aspect of the expectation that's not
True.
realistic,
True.
but maybe there is something with that you
Right.
can fulfill.
Right.
That's
right.
what I'm trying
That's
to say.
True.
So
That's
all
true.
I'm saying is make sure that your spouse doesn't feel punished for sharing.
Right.
Because you got to share it.
Yes.
But don't knock the person down once they share it
Right.
with you. You know what I'm saying?
Because when I did say that I could not do that, I said it in a very loving and very kind.
I can't even corroborate that because I don't remember it happening.
You blocked that out of your mind.
Maybe. So maybe it wasn't as positive as she thinks because
No.
maybe I blocked it out of my mind because it wasn't a
seriously,
positive situation.
It was very positive. It really went well.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't remember, I guess, because whatever, but
Yeah.
I remember saying to you, I am so sorry, sweetheart. I would love to be able to do that for you.
That's not how you said it just now. When you
But
remembered it the first time.
I'm remembering as I go along.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
remembering.
yes.
But I'm so sorry. This cannot happen
Yeah.
the way that you would like it to happen.
Right.
You know,
But it could happen periodically.
and it did.
Yeah.
You know, so I agree with you on that.
I actually felt at some point during our time in North Carolina that particular thing I felt more attended to in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So something must have happened. There must have been some kind of conversation, and you must have been trying because I
Right.
remember something changing.
Let me tell you something. I win my husband's love through his belly.
That's true.
That's just it.
It's through my stomach.
If
There's no question
he
about
is
it.
fed,
Right.
he is happy.
Always.
All he has to have is food.
That's true. And I get hangry too when I don't
He
get.
gets hangry.
You know what I'm saying? When I don't
So
get my food.
I just have to feed him.
Right.
That's it.
So here's the third thing, and I think this really goes to it's still in line and in keeping with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The third thing is that you have to put yourself in your significant other's shoes.
You do. You
And
have
so
to do that.
It really is both
Yeah.
ways, though. So give your spouse, your significant other, the benefit of the doubt, and then put yourself in their shoes. So, for instance, when I come with my expectation, if I say it out loud before I ever say it to April, sometimes I realize in that moment that it's unrealistic. And the thing that helps me to realize that is that I will immediately say to myself, if April had the same expectation of me, how would it make me feel?
Right. And I'm telling you, that really works. If you actually do it sincerely, like
Right.
sincerely put yourself in the person. You
Really
know, we
try.
say that.
Yeah.
Put yourself in
Yeah,
their
we do.
shoes.
And we
but
really don't do
And you
that.
really don't do it.
Right.
But if you really put yourself in the shoes, if I were to have asked you, you working full time just like me, you had 2 kids just like I did, to make my lunch every day and my breakfast or whatever, you know,
Right.
how would you respond?
Immediately, I would say to myself, why
That
would
would
she?
be-
Why would she even think that that's possible with all the things that we're doing all the
Right.
time?
But
Why would she?
sometimes-
Why would she expect that?
Yeah. But
Right.
sometimes we just, you know, when you want what you want or when you have your feelings, you don't really, I guess, consider the other person.
yes, but
so I
he-
guess being considerate by giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
And putting yourself in their shoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's-
What if this were asked of me?
Yes. What if? And listen, maybe the expectation that I have is so specific that you would never ask me that. So you may have to change it a
Right.
little bit to something that the person would ask of you. You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying?
So I feel like sometimes with unrealistic expectations, they come at certain points in your relationship. So it may not be that just out the blue you have unrealistic expectations. I mean, think about the time that we had unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
We had unrealistic expectations during the times when we were very, very tired because we had little ones.
We were sleep deprived all during those times when
Yes,
John and Julia were.
which makes you feel like you have to expect, like I expected you to be home all the time. I would get upset when you went to work.
right.
That
And you
was
had to be
not-
home with the kids, and I was going out
right.
working. Yeah.
Or even when you went to the grocery store, I asked you to go to the grocery store.
Right. You said, please go get some
Yes.
diapers. Right.
And I am upset because my expectation was that he was with me. He would be with
We'd
me
be
all the
home
time.
together. Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and that's not realistic.
Right. That's
Somebody
true.
got to go make the money.
You're right.
You know,
That's true.
So
Yeah, how we gonna live?
It's like I feel like you need to just think about that. Even think about the moment you're in your
Yes,
relationship, the
yes.
season you're in. You
Yes.
know, are we in a season where it's causing us to not be able to think properly because we are going through a difficult time or because we are tired or whatever.
Yes.
You know, you can have unrealistic expectations when you lose a job.
That's true.
You
You're
know,
right.
or when you
move.
move, or you have a financial difficulty. I mean, there's some things that come up that causes your mind to not think straight.
That's true.
And so I think you need to think about that when you are expressing those expectations to yourself.
Yes. So as you're thinking it through and as you're thinking about why it makes you so angry and what it is about it that's making you so upset and why you're so bummed out about this thing, maybe think about what season you're in.
Exactly.
Maybe it has more to do with what's going on in your life that's causing you to not to think straight. And maybe you normally have regular expectations, and now for some reason for the last 2 months you've had crazy expectations. It could be something that has changed in your circumstances surrounding your relationship.
And you may not even know that your expectations are that way.
True.
That's why you need to maybe write them down and read them to yourself and then think about, like we said, putting yourself in the other person's shoes and thinking about, does this make sense?
Yes, I agree with
You
that.
know?
That's totally true.
Yeah.
It's happened to us many times during those times in life that you would say are transition points.
Yeah.
We move and that happens.
Yep.
We change jobs and that happens. Circumstances around our children change and that happens.
Yep.
And, you know, when your children get older, there are certain things and stages they go through where things change in your life. So I remember when they were little, April was home with them all the time. Now that they're older, I'm pretty much the guy that's carting them around all the time to practices and different things like that, gymnastics and all that kind of stuff. There are all those kinds of things that happen. Circumstances change, and sometimes you're just kind of on autopilot. And if you never had a discussion about how we're going to do this certain thing, it might be where now you're expecting things to be a certain way, but you guys never even discussed it.
Yep. But you just expect it to be that way because you thought about it.
That's right.
Because it's in your mind.
That's right. Yeah, that's not fair.
It's not.
Yeah, neither of us are mind readers. We may know each other very well,
right,
but there's no way I can actually tell what's going on in April's brain all the time. Sometimes I do know, but other times I don't.
It's true. Same here.
And that's why it's important for us to find a way to be able to communicate these things.
True.
So articulate your expectations, even if you have to just say it to yourself out loud.
Right.
Make sure you find a way to talk to your spouse, your significant other, about that expectation.
Right.
And then put yourself in their shoes. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Figure out whether or not you'd feel the same way or feel some kind of way if they were to ask you the same kind of thing. That's the hack. We think that will help you.
And really, I think if you do the first one, you actually might not even have to do 2 and 3.
You may not. You're right.
Because
you may say,
after
this
you
is
say
crazy.
it out loud, you realize, wait a minute. Am I really going to ask my spouse to do something like that?
Exactly.
So
we hope that helps you.
Now it's time for What You Really Think.
All right. What you really think.
Yeah.
I think this is where April's going to ask me 5, not really 5 questions. She's going to say 5 things. And I'm supposed to just respond with the first thing that comes to my mind.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to do.
First thing that
right
comes
now.
to your mind.
Okay.
No thinking. Just
Okay. First thing that comes to my mind.
All right. Ready?
So you can't edit this.
But I might.
You might. Okay.
Ready?
Go ahead.
Dave Chappelle.
Comedic genius.
When I have to work late.
Ooh,
it's supposed to be quick.
When
First
you
thing.
have to work late, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Men wearing capris.
Oh, man. I don't agree with that at all. Dwayne Wade comes to my mind right now, and I say, nah, bruh. Let's just say nah, bruh.
Okay, nah, bruh. All right. Mass shootings.
Ah, man. Ugh, gut-wrenching. Horrible. Absolutely.
Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Quintessential power couple.
I knew you were going to say that.
Did you really?
I did.
Wow.
I was like, he's going to say power couple.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Those guys, I don't know what their net worth is.
Right.
But they're worth a lot of money together.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have something close to what they have.
That was cool.
That was fun.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to get to our word of the day.
Word of the day.
I think we have 2 words of the day. And these, sometimes our word of the day is an actual word. Sometimes the word of the day is a phrase. Sometimes you have to look up the definition in the Urban Dictionary. And that might be the case in this situation. I guess April can start with her word, and then I'll share mine.
Okay. The word of the day is boy bye.
Wow.
And you have to look like that when you say it. Boy bye. You gotta do it like that.
And now I'm not going to do any neck thing or anything like that with mine, but it's similar. My word of the day is bye, Felicia.
So we chose these words because we're thinking about a partner who is expressing those unrealistic expectations.
And that might be the first thing that comes to your head is to say,
boy bye. Or
Bye,
bye,
Felicia.
Felicia. So, The meaning of those phrases. Here's the meaning. You must be joking. You must be crazy.
Uh-huh.
I don't think so.
So basically, we want you to be encouraged. We're making light of it, but the reality is that every single person at some point has unrealistic expectations.
Yes.
And we probably have these multiple times. We may not even realize that a lot of the arguments and quarrels and things that we're dealing with our significant other come down to unrealistic expectations.
Right.
And so if you can make light of it and just think to yourself when your spouse brings that thing to you, bye, Felicia, boy, bye. Don't say it. Because it might actually cause an argument.
But you can think it first.
You can think it. That's good.
And then, calmly tell them, I am so sorry, my dear.
I don't think I can do that. That's not going to be possible. Well, maybe a little bit sometimes, but not every day.
Yeah.
So we hope that helps you. Until next time.
Bye.
See ya. Thanks for watching Just John and April.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also hit that notification bell to be notified about our next episode.
See you next time.
Bye.